bottom line. Why should the people of Texas under CenterPoint pay $800 million for this terrible deal?
KHOU 11 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening to you. I'm Cheryl Mercedes. We apologize for the technical difficulties we're having online. We are going to begin this digital newscast from the top so that you can hear and see everything that we were covering for you, starting with this breaking news that's concerning a 10-year-old girl who's gone missing. Here's a closer look at her photo. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says her name is Isis Graham. She's been missing for nearly 3 hours and was last seen at Falls West Oaks Apartments right off of Highway 6 in South Houston. Authorities say she was wearing black pants and a black shirt with a bullseye-shaped tie-dye pattern on the front. If you know where she might be or you see her, call 911 or the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Turning now to today's top story, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is calling for the CEO of CenterPoint Energy to step down. He did it during a special meeting of the Public Utility Commission today. It comes on the heels of criticism of CenterPoint's response to the May derecho and Hurricane Beryl. Ugochi Iloka was there and talked to people who were impacted.
We need the microgrids. We need things that are going to last us when these storms come to hit.
Power Up Harris County was one of many community groups made up of Houstonians who lost power during recent storms. Bobby Ramos says his sister was impacted in the worst way.
After giving birth, 1 month after Beryl hits, she loses 20 bags of milk pumped.
What happened to her is why Ramos wants to see more support from the Public Utility Commission of Texas, also known as the PUCT.
We are pushing the envelope when it comes to renewable energy, when it comes to solar powers, and partnering with Texas Climate Jobs.
In the PUCT workshop, the commission listened to residents like Ramos, public officials like Senator Carol Alvarado, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick push for accountability when it comes to CenterPoint.
Were they acting in the interest of the folks in their coverage area, or were they interested in their bottom line? Why should the people of Texas under CenterPoint pay $800 million for this terrible deal and a profit on top of it?
Patrick says CenterPoint spent that $800 million to lease generators the company couldn't even move to respond to power outages during Hurricane Beryl.
They signed that lease before the PUC even issued any rulings.
He accused the PUCT of playing a part in that bad deal going through and requested the commission audit CenterPoint on behalf of the customer.
I don't think we're overcharging. So they may owe these people and all the people in CenterPoint a whole lot of money. They have to pay for it. So they can make any terrible deal they made. And the idea that the PUC commission said it was prudent is insulting, because no business would ever make that deal.
As for how CenterPoint handled Beryl, Patrick said in the meeting preparations simply weren't made.
I've seen Mr. Wells tell us all the things they're going to do. Why didn't they do them before Beryl? Why didn't they do them? Why are we now replacing the poles? Why are we now addressing vegetation?
He thinks CenterPoint needs a strong new leader, claiming the current CEO, Jason Wells, was unable to answer for certain if customers were overcharged.
I believe at this point, the board of CenterPoint should ask for Jason Wells' resignation.
Ugochi Iloka, KHOU 11 News.
In just the last 15 minutes, CenterPoint responded to our request for comment. CEO Jason Wells delivered the following to the Public Utility Commission of Texas today. It reads in part, quote, "I am saddened by the pain we heard our fellow Houstonians express, and I am even more resolute than ever in my determination to make sure this never happens again." End quote. Right now, Harris County Sheriff's investigators are trying to figure out what led to a deadly pedestrian crash this morning. This happened at around 8:25 on Cypress Rose Hill Road near Waregan Road, south of Highway 99. Here's what we know so far. According to Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, authorities were called to the scene after a car reportedly hit and killed a woman. Now, authorities tell us the driver stayed at the scene, but they still don't know what caused the crash. And this evening, a Houston police officer is still shaken after a wrong-way driver crashed into their patrol car this morning. This happened at around 1 a.m. near the intersection of Smith and Twom Street. You can see right there the damage to the cruiser. Authorities tell us the driver also hit another car, stopped at the intersection, then kept driving and crashed into a parked car. Investigators say the driver may have been intoxicated. The officer suffered minor injuries and was taken to the hospital. Thankfully, no one else was hurt. An investigation continues. Turning now to the weather with a live look outside at Moody Gardens on another hot and humid day. Meteorologist Pat Kaplan is back with us tonight, and Pat is joining us now with some good cool news, huh, Pat?
Well, we are going to see a drop in humidity as we get into this week, that's for sure. Today, though, not too bad. Thanks to the cloud cover, temperatures actually ended up exactly where they should be for this time of year. 86 in the book, so right on target for our normal. The heat returns, though, as we get to tomorrow with more sunshine back in the forecast, but humidity will gradually start to come down as we get into the week. 85 right now for Tomball, same in Conroe, 90 in College Station, where we've seen a little more sunshine today. Otherwise, though, mid-80s across the board. Dew points, though, are in the humid range. That's what all the green on the map indicates. Dew points in the upper 60s and low 70s. We're kind of getting back to that tropical air mass, but it's very, very short-lived. Not much came of that tropical air mass, just a couple of very isolated showers drifting through Chambers County right now. That's pretty much it. Everyone else stayed dry. They are all on the fringe, believe it or not, of the developing tropical storm here in the Bay of Campeche. There is Tropical Storm Milton, and as Milton becomes a little better organized and more consolidated, that cloud shield will start to shrink, and we will start to see this return of sunshine as we get into tomorrow. As of this afternoon's advisory, wind sustained at 40 miles per hour. This is going to be a formidable storm here as we go through the upcoming week. By Monday, before sunrise, we're expecting this to be a Category 1 hurricane. By Tuesday afternoon, it's a major Category 3 storm, and right now it is expected to make a landfall somewhere here along the Florida west coast, anywhere from the Big Bend coast down towards southwest Florida and the Everglades. But right now the center of the forecast cone takes us right into Tampa Bay Wednesday afternoon as a major Category 3 hurricane. There are two schools of thoughts on what happens with this storm. Each of the white lines here indicates a different model plot, but the black lines indicate consensus of certain models, and you can see the two schools of thought. One is a south track and the other is a north track. That south track would be a weaker storm and the north track would be a stronger storm, and because the storm looks to intensify, the Hurricane Center has the center of their cone in line with that northerly track. But anything is kind of possible here over the next few days. But here's future track, and watch what happens as the storm over the next 2 days really ramps up here. By Tuesday, the storm is in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, but it is pushed away from us thanks to our approaching cold front that will deflect this storm down to the south and steer it out towards Florida. So for the overnight, we do start to see our skies clear. It stays mild and muggy, temperatures in the low 70s. That front starts to slowly approach, pushing through North Texas tomorrow. But for us, more sunshine means more heat. We're still hot on Monday, and Milton stays to the south as temperatures get into the 90s. But once that front goes through, again, it scoops Milton up and pushes it to the east. And for us, our humidity falls through the floor. We go from the tropical range to the humid range tomorrow, down into the comfortable range by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday. And again, the bottom really drops out on the dew points here. So we stay in the comfortable range here all the way through next weekend. So it's a long stretch of really comfortable weather here. Behind this cold front, all of the green indicating the humidity is gone, and it totally disappears getting into next week. And you'll really notice the difference in the overnight temperatures. Daytime highs still flirting with 90, but it'll feel great with the low humidity. But the morning temperatures, your wake up numbers, 60s across the board from Tuesday all the way through next weekend with low 60s. And by the way, these are numbers in the city. Once you get into the suburbs north and west, we will see widespread 50s, especially for the middle of the week. Not the case tonight, though. 73 degrees, couple less clouds, 94 then with sunshine for tomorrow. As we get you through the 7-day forecast, we stay at 94 for Monday with mainly sunny skies. The front goes through without any rain or storms, but you do notice the drop in humidity Tuesday and those overnight temperatures in the low 60s for Wednesday, Thursday. We stay cool all the way through next weekend for the overnights, but again, high temperatures, still a few degrees above normal, hovering around 90 all the way through next weekend.
All right, that's sweater weather for some, Pat.
For the mornings, yeah.
Yes. All right, thanks so much. Running to raise awareness, that was the goal at today's Susan G. Komen Houston Race for the Cure, an annual fundraising event to honor breast cancer survivors. Dozens of people took part in the event in downtown Houston this morning. The annual race has three purposes: to raise funds for breast cancer research, celebrate survivors, and remember those who lost their battle with the disease.
My family and I have been doing this for 14 years. My mom was first diagnosed about 16 years ago, and then I am a 13-year survivor.
All right, after it was all said and done, they were able to raise over $800,000. Organizers say they hope to reach $1 million in the fight against breast cancer. We're now 31 days away from the November election. Former President Donald Trump returned to Pennsylvania, to the very spot where someone attempted to assassinate him over the summer. Rick Sayer is in Butler with the latest.
Pennsylvania, and as I was saying,
former President Donald Trump came back to Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday, almost 3 months after a would-be assassin's bullet grazed his ear.
All who have visited this hallowed place will remember what happened here, and they will know of the character and courage that so many incredible American patriots have showed and know.
A number of people in the crowd also attended his rally the day of the shooting in July.
It means that, hey, he's a fighter and he's going to fight for us. And it meant the world, I think, to the people there when he came up and said, you know, I'm okay.
The former president paid tribute to Corey Comparator, killed while trying to protect his family during the attack.
Corey leapt into the fire one more time. In his last seconds of this earth, he threw himself on the top of his wife and daughters. He didn't want them hurt.
Security is extra tight after July's shooting and another apparent attempt on Trump's life at his West Palm Beach golf club only weeks ago. Snipers and U.S. Secret Service agents were stationed inside and outside the secure perimeter of the Butler Farm Show Fairgrounds on Saturday, including the roof of a warehouse the gunman used to fire multiple rounds. Meanwhile, in North Carolina Saturday, Vice President Kamala Harris surveyed devastation from Hurricane Helene.
I think that these moments of crisis bring out some of the best of who we can be and who we are.
Helene, the deadliest U.S. storm since Hurricane Katrina in 2005, has already claimed at least 225 lives in several southern states. Ricky Sayer, CBS News, Butler, Pennsylvania.
Election day is just 1 month away. The last day to register to vote is Monday. Text the word VOTE to 713-526-1111 and we'll send you our voter guide with links to check your voter registration status or even find an application. Again, the deadline is this Monday, October 7th. Early voting begins Monday, October 21st and runs through November 1st. Election day is Tuesday, November 5th. Taking a look at some of the other stories we're following this evening. Right now, President Joe Biden is urging lawmakers to refill important disaster relief programs before they run out of money. In a letter Friday, Biden warned congressional leaders about the issue, saying FEMA and the Department of Defense could require more funding in the future and that the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program is already running low. However, they do have enough money right now to meet immediate recovery needs from Hurricane Helene. So far, no action has been taken as Congress is in recess ahead of the election. And in New York, another top aide to City Mayor Eric Adams is preparing to resign. That's according to reports. First Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright will step down. However, that hasn't been officially announced. And according to a new poll, 2/3 of New Yorkers are also calling on Mayor Adams to resign or have the governor remove him. This all comes after Adams was indicted on bribery charges. His next hearing is scheduled for November 1st. And just yesterday, the $800 million question has been answered. The winner of last month's Mega Millions jackpot in Sugar Land has claimed the prize. The ticket was sold at the Murphy Express in Sugar Land. The winner is keeping their identity under wraps by creating a trust. They are taking the cash option, which means whoever is behind the Soul Living Trust of Sugar Land, is now $409 million richer.
Good for them.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Right. Exactly. Good for them. That's our time for now, but we've got you covered anytime on KHOU.com. We'll have more for you coming up on TV tonight at 10. See you then.